And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you win here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks for taking some time and joining us here on the show. We got a great lineup for you here today. And again, it's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Attorney Joe Cairns, back on the show. Family law attorney, divorce attorney. Welcome back, Joe.
Thanks, Brandon. Joe Cairns. I'm sitting here in Clearwater, Florida. We'll talk a little bit about what the situation's causing for the family law folks.
How family law is being affected. If it's anything like some of the other attorneys we spoke with, it's kind of a standstill.
It's not standing still.
Okay. All right. So it's not. All right. We've got in studio here, Rick Nickerson, BottomZupp. Welcome back, Rick.
And Brandon, great to be here. Man, sure appreciate your platform, reaching the community for good. We're very proud to be a partner in the show, and just wanted to, reach out to all the families and touch base on what's going on right now. And just so you know, we're the floor removal experts. We're out there. We're Tampa Bay's largest floor removal company, and we're here for you, and we are working through these hard times. I want to touch base on what a lot of us are going through right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you bringing that information. Also, Patrick Moraites on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Axis Group, PEO.
Hey,
Welcome
what's
back.
going on, Brandon?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Happy to be here virtually via satellite
Yeah.
in Tampa.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you got this set up like this. But excited to be back on the show today and talk to people, business owners a little bit, and educate them a little bit about how PEOs and employee leasing companies are supporting with the COVID-19, all the changes in the laws and regulations and PPP loan and all that fun stuff that's been our new normal the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, the new norm. There's a lot of changes here in Tampa Bay, and we welcome some of the changes, like Brady and Gronk, coming to the Bucs. We welcome those types of changes. We don't like this COVID change that we're all dealing with, but we're going to get through it. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's getting closer here, so we appreciate everybody involved, and all the shout out to the frontline workers, everybody involved with the medical industry folks, truck drivers, the list goes on and on. The sheriff deputies. We've had both the Hillsborough County Sheriff on the show and the Pinellas County Sheriff on the show as well. And the theme is the same. The sooner we can get through this is based on how we all, kind of abide by the guidelines and do what makes sense. So we appreciate everybody involved. As you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. My wife Lindsay and I own and operate a top team here in the Tampa Bay area. Property at 520 George Street South. This is a gorgeous property right on Lake Tarpon. It's a waterfront on the lake, $499,000. It's got a mother-in-law suite as well, boat dock, and bring your boat and jet skis and enjoy Lake Tarpon, Tampa Bay's largest lake, 2,500-acre lake right here in the Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor area of Pinellas County. Great opportunity to own waterfront right here at 520 George Street South in Tarpon Springs. Also, check out 422 Wildwood Way. This property is in BELLEAIR, one of the hottest communities in all of Tampa Bay. It's 422 Wildwood Way in BELLEAIR. The owner put $130,000 into a recent remodel, upgrading, and also lush landscaping here at this property at 422 Wildwood Way, BELLEAIR. Check out all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com. All right, Attorney Joe Cairns. We've got him back on the show, and he has a wealth of information around all things family law. So what have you been seeing out there, Joe?
Well, I told you that things aren't necessarily at a standstill. That the family law dynamics haven't stopped. And I've heard from my criminal attorney friends that the crime rates are down, so people are getting arrested. People aren't being held in jail for long. Bond is very easy to procure. The financial type of cases, those are on hold. I think people are filing different bankruptcies and real estate type cases, but ultimately we're still in a situation where the family dynamic and those things, they're probably actually being exacerbated.
Right.
I remember when the shutdown first occurred, one of the things we were hearing over and over again was, well, do I still have to exchange my child with the other parent because there's this stay-at-home, safer-at-home order that's in effect? Ultimately, different attorneys, different people had different positions. Ultimately, I think it broke along the lines of what was going to be better for their client. But ultimately, the courts have said, go forward with your time-sharing arrangements as typical. One thing that has been a bad situation is if you have supervised time-sharing, those facilities that provide that type of service, their doors are shut. So the only thing they can utilize is Zoom, and even sometimes that can be problematic itself. But the word that we've received is that from the clerk is that divorce filings and paternity cases, there hasn't been too much of a drop off. Now, people that are trying to get their case finalized, those have slowed down a little bit. I will tell you that I've done at least 2 days worth of trial since the mid part of March on the phone. It is a much different animal to contend with, but people are starting to be able to adjust. It's not ideal, but we are moving things along.
Wow. So you're resuming trials, but it's mostly via telephone, phoning in, and then all parties are on like a conference call setup?
Yes, it's not even a Zoom. I think there was some idea of if one party didn't have the same type of bandwidth in order to do this, it would be difficult. So we have been doing it on the phone. In fact, the very first day that Pinellas closed the courts, I then had to do a trial the very next day on the phone, and we did it all day. It wasn't anything anyone wanted to do. There was a lot of resistance from both of the attorneys. Ultimately, we did it. It was allowed us to move the case, 1 day forward. That trial's still going on. It's several days. But other hearings, if the attorneys agree, the courts will move it. If it's a situation where someone's out of the country, it's been moved. So a lot of things have just been kind of moved out. Things that are still occurring, mediations, they're absolutely occurring. Zoom has been great for those types of processes. Depositions are still occurring. People are still asking questions about, what we can and cannot do under these particular situations and how we're going to transition later. Quite honestly, I was expecting people to really want to exchange their kids, particularly if they were in some sort of virtual school, because the complaints I've been receiving on that have been countless.
I bet. Yeah, that's a big challenge. All of a sudden now, the kids are at home all the time. Both parents are at home. If you have any extended, family living with you or grandparents, that you're taking care of. And by the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Joe Cairns, Cairns Law. He's online at cairnslaw.com, CAIRNS Law.com. And Joe, so speak to that, the dynamic of now all of a sudden you're self-employed, you're a business owner, you're trying to run your business out of your home, but then you have kids in some cases where, now the kids are at home, it's turning to you to be their part-time teacher and teach them, whatever type of business, algebra or calculus. It's like, wow, okay.
Parents that are very good at co-parenting, if they're not together, regardless if it's a divorce or a paternity type situation, they end up dividing the duties pretty easily. So they get that done almost because they're used to getting along. The ones where they're not, that's where there's the problems. And that's just part of the dynamic, and that's some things that we're working through. So I haven't had too many issues with the school situation, but where the problems have lie, for example, if you're someone whose parents have to live with you or they're in very close proximity and they're in that high-risk group, it could be difficult for the child then to come over there because who have they been in contact with? We got to make sure that everyone's okay. So there has been a couple of situations where time sharing hasn't occurred, not because the parties didn't want it to happen, not because the child didn't want to go, but there's someone in that other house that is high risk and they're being cautious. So we've had to come up with alternatives of how everyone gets to see the children. That's been something we've seen as well.
Yeah, wow, it's a tough dynamic. This whole thing is, really, shifted the American way of life in a lot of different households, different ways, and it can be challenging. What are you seeing as some of the workarounds or ways that people can, try to get through this time?
Well, the biggest thing is to not make small problems become large problems. That's even when the coronavirus isn't affecting us. So, because if you let those small problems become big problems, there's very little recourse. I mean, the courts are open; they can have telephonic hearings, but it's still very difficult to get in there immediately. There has been a small, well, not really a small, but a fairly significant uptick in domestic violence cases because no one can just simply leave the house or go over to their friend's house. They're kind of stuck. Things are boiling over. So if I was telling you before to take a couple breaths before you start screaming about something, I'm going to need you to take 4, 5, or 6 because the alternatives are not great. I mean, there's situations where if someone can't go somewhere else, they're in a hotel. And they're not going to want to be in a hotel. So everyone just got to keep their nerves to them. It's going to be even more difficult because you're in even a bigger pressure cooker.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's a challenging time. It's a frustrating time, and hopefully you do what's right for the kids if you are in that situation where you're going through a divorce or you're looking to potentially figure out a safe way to have a cooperative divorce and work together. And if you need any advice along those lines, we highly recommend Joe Cairns, attorney Joe Cairns here in Tampa Bay, CAIRNS law.com, and more from Joe coming up in our lightning round. We're going to go through and have top tips, nuggets of advice from all of our expert contributors. And coming up, we got Rick Nickerson, owner of BottomZupp, here in studio with us, as well as Patrick Moraites, Axis Group PEO. And we have our feel-good story of the day coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Reach out with any questions, and we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Kansas Star.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill, but actually it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember anymore. Ask it to me about
Yes.
To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards from Nathan.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50+ show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser,
we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you. We have instant offers available as well, cash offers through a program called Keller Offers. So if you're looking for a quick closing in a matter of days, we can help you facilitate that as well. Reach out at our hotline, 813-670-7372. Call or text our hotline at 813-670-7372. And check out consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available at consumerqb.com. And what a great time to reach out to Replenish IV Solutions if you're looking to boost your immune system. They've got the Myers cocktail available, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, directly injected through a vitamin infusion drip. Reach out to our friends at Replenish IV Solutions. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They've got Carrollwood office, also a Bears and Del Mabry, and they do make house calls as well. So reach out, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 2689 Sable Springs Circle in Clearwater. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that we have available. It's waterfront. And we have just a beautiful opportunity here for you, priced right around $130,000. So it's a affordable property here in Tampa Bay, close to the Countryside Mall. 2689 Sable Springs Circle, unit number 105 in Clearwater. Great buying opportunity, affordable property. And 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa. This is a property. It's an office building. So looking for a business owner that might be interested in purchasing an office building, and especially if you're paying out rent right now, 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue. You've got a huge conference room, small kitchen, completely fenced in, security systems, and signage out by the main road, which is Hillsborough Avenue, right there in Town and Country. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And we are back here in studio. We got Rick Nickerson in the house, BottomZupp, longtime friend of the program, a local business owner, success story, and he's got some good stuff for you lined up today, Rick.
Well, we're on day 94 of what I'm considering to be our generation, what we're going through. It's a great war. Yeah. That's what we're facing right now. The COVID-19 cases, let me just throw some things at you, some numbers real quick. Confirmed cases around the world. These are some crazy numbers. 2.6 million. Confirmed cases throughout the world, 184,000 deaths. In the United States alone, 855,000, 855,000 confirmed cases, 48,000 deaths. In Florida, 28,000 cases, 867 deaths. That's what we're going through. That's what we're faced with right now. That's our great war. We're all concentrating on that. And as much as I'd love to talk about floor removals and things like that, these other things become more important. Life becomes more important. So you want to tie that into your daily discussions and how you can combat these things. Think about unemployment right now in the U.S. The number right now is 26 million and rising. In the state of Florida alone, 1.5 million filed since mid-March. And only 14% of those are being met. So there's 86% of the people that have filed that are waiting on their money.
Wow.
What does that do? Well, that creates stress. And I'll tell you, I'm the first understanding what stress means during this time. As our company, BottomZupp Floor Removal, the floor removal experts, 80% of our business is residential. People don't want you in their safe homes right now during this pandemic. So our business has been diminished by 50%. So, when the president made the announcement that he's got a PPP loan program and he's going to release $250 billion, that night, I went to our CFO and we talked about, let's get that thing filed right away. Let's, we're on day 94. I've seen and projected what it's going to do to our business. We better get ahead of this thing.
Yeah.
So each and every day, the first thing we would look at is our bank account. Did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it? And you talk about the amount of stress and apprehension on the president of a company as he's got 65 souls and his business that he's worked on for 10 years, seeing that it could be eaten up by a pandemic that none of us saw coming.
Yeah, a black swan out of the blue.
And we're all together in this. We're all dealing with this. And, the amount of stress, I mean, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. And so what I wanted to do is reach out to the consumers out there and those business owners that are sharing in our grief. Remember that stress is real. And there's, short-term stress and long-term stress. And I just want to talk about some of the things that you can help me, because as I woke up every day and saw it changing my life, I was stressed out every single day, all day long. I was looking for avenues or outlets to combat it. The short-term stress is a good thing. All right, we all feel that. I could tell the story about when I was in 8th grade and I looked across the street on a busy highway and I saw a friend at the Magic Market, and me and my brother were sitting there and I ran across the street. Well, there was a car coming at 45 miles an hour. I jumped in the air and jumped the car, got to the other side, looked at my brother, and he looks at me and goes, "I can't believe what I just saw. You literally jumped that car." Well, that's short-term stress. That's good. But long-term stress causes shortness of breath, chest pain, restlessness, poor blood circulation. You're worried about the future. All those things are bad. So remember that there are 8 simple things. There's 8 simple things that I want our consumers out there, our people, our family listening in. Remember these 8 simple things. They've helped me.
Okay.
Number 1, basics: eat properly, sleep properly, and exercise properly. It's those 3 things are the cornerstone. Those are the foundation, things that you've got to remember to do daily. Second, breathe deeply throughout the day. In 1 minute, you're to take 6 deep breaths. Meditate if you can. Number 3 and number 4, both focus on the short term and look to a positive future. Those kind of tie hand in hand. Little victories, all right? It's going to get better. We talk about this. What goes down must also come up. We talked about, prior to the show, we talked about, when do you think, Rick? When do you think? Well, I'm thinking, in towards the end of May or mid-May, and by June, we'll be out of this thing. We're hoping. If we continue to do the right things, wear a mask, use hand sanitizers, keep your social distancing. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Keep your home safe. All those types of things. And then keep your key connections. Like I'm a workout freak, as we both work out. We like to stay social, things like that. Stream online. You can FaceTime with your family. You can connect online with the people in your gym. If you're doing, your gym's obviously shut down, but you can do a little workout. They've got those online. Stay connected to the people at your church and let them know that you're out there. Those types of things. And limit the amount of news intake. Oh my God, every day I was looking for. Yes, do we want to watch the news at one time to see what's going on? Absolutely. But don't watch it CNN all day long and death, destruction, this is bad. No, cut yourself off. There's Netflix. There's books that you can do. I like to golf. My golf game, I've cut 8 strokes off my game because I go out to the driving range for an hour every day, and I just get out there in nature and hit the golf balls around, and it's really helped me. And then find ways back to nature. Speaking of golf, go for walks. Go to, when the beaches reopen here shortly, we've got parks. Walk around your neighborhood. Keep your social distance, things like that. And then finally, I want to talk about something that's a cornerstone of your show, that I really like. Random acts of kindness. Number 8 is do good, feel good. Now, what do I mean by that? Sew some masks. Take up your time, create a sewing station and sew some masks and give them to someone in need. Create a face shield, things like that. Deliver food to an elderly couple if you can. Things like that. Deliver supplies to the in need, the hospitals right now, and the medical workers, and they need us right now. Deliver those, or do some yard work for a neighbor, something of that nature. Stress is real. Don't allow it to bog you down. And remember, that it's going to be better on the other side. And, you know, what goes down must come up. I think we're all going through this together. I think we're going to be smarter, better, bigger, stronger, faster on the other side. And if you keep these things in mind, these 8 simple rules, I think that'll help you through the stressful times. I know that it certainly has helped me during this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a lot of great points there, Rick. You put together some great information, and it was interesting. I was listening to a interview with Tom Brady, the new quarterback coming to Tampa Bay, and it was on Stern. But one of the final thoughts he had, he said, tell us something inspirational. He said, well, the main thing that a lot of people wonder, how did I become the best quarterback, and what people call the GOAT? And he said it's about his nutrition. It's about getting proper rest. It's about taking care of his body. So right now we need to think of ourselves as athletes and professional athletes, and we've got to be in the best shape we can, get the best rest that we can, take in quality calories versus just anything that we can eat. So I think that's a big part of it. And the other point you made of having that positive future, the human beings, we have to have something that we're looking for, that we're building, and if we're not growing, we're dying.
Absolutely. And that's another good thing you can focus on. When I touched base on, get out of the news and get into something positive. Oh my gosh, we got Gronk and Brady coming.
There you go.
We haven't been to the playoffs in years. I mean, that's something you can watch. We got the NFL draft coming out. Look into positive figures, looking for other ways to release your mind from all those negative thoughts, and know that the glass is half full. It's not half empty.
Yeah.
And dwell on those things, and don't allow the negative to destroy you. Be cognizant of it.
Yep.
Absolutely. We're all in this together. But, we're a family, we're a community, and we're all in this together, and we're going through these things. So be cognizant of these things, and be mindful, and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right. Absolutely. And kind of what Rick was talking about, the random act of kindness, how we always end our show. We got a feel-good story of the day that kind of echoes that. Get a woman hands out hand sanitizer, vitamin C kits, blankets, and food to help the homeless. That's our feel-good story of the day. That was out of Los Angeles, California. And we want to make sure you stay here with us on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We would love to connect with you online. Any questions, comments you've had? We've had an uptick in calls lately on the show as well. Reach out at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook, and of course our hotline. We'll be right back after the short timeout. Don't go anywhere.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember it. Ask Anthony about Florida law.
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love that name because You were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as sisters connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your consumer quarterback show, and also owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Had an uptick in calls this week. People reaching out, wanting to find out, how do they deal with their mortgage servicers? What about credit? What about identity theft? And some of these different issues. People are reaching out, finding out more about the government loans and how they access some of these loans. So coming up, we've got an expert in that field that can maybe shed some light on some of that programs for any small business owners out there. People wondering about some of those programs, the PPP and the CARES Act as well. This segment is brought to you by Golf Cart Depot. Say hello to our friends over at Golf Cart Depot, and they're offering to drive these golf carts directly to your home and letting you test drive them at the comfort of your home. They also have the Icon electric vehicles now available as well. Clearwater and Land O'Lakes. They've got Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, new and pre-owned opportunities for Golf Cart Depot. If you want a golf cart, they're going to bring it directly to your home and let you test drive there. And they're a lot of fun. I've got my own Keller Williams red golf cart now, and we're out in a normal economy. We're out door knocking, meeting our neighbors, and kind of slowed down on that. But love my Keller Williams red. We got it wrapped as well with the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, also the Consumer Quarterback Show. Compliments of Bob Burmaster over at Image 360. Reach out to Golf Cart Depot. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you and take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 260 Lyndhurst Street in Dunedin. This is a gorgeous property. Think about the sunsets that you'll be taking in, overlooking that beautiful waterway, the intercoastal waterways. You've got a mother-in-law suite there that could be rented out, income property, as well as walking over your walking distance. Right across the street is the Fenway Hotel, a wonderful place that's a hotel and restaurant, Fenway Hotel. 260 Lyndhurst Street, Dunedin. All that Dunedin has to offer right there at your fingertips. 4207 Cox Drive. This is a vacant lot. Build your dream home on this vacant lot on Bell Lake in Land O'Lakes. 4207 Cox Drive, Land O'Lakes. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Build your dream home. Property is asking for, the owner's asking about $279 for that lot. So great opportunities here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we're going to have Patrick Moraites join us now. He is an expert with PEO, the PEO Business Professional Employer Organization, and Axis Group is his company.
Hey, Brandon, what's going on?
Hey, man, I think a lot of people are wondering, how do they access some of these programs? How can they get some of the money that's being passed in record numbers from the government?
Yeah, and Rick brought up an excellent point of new funding, coming online, which is exciting and needed. Some of the statistics of the 30 million businesses out there, small businesses, just a little over, close to 2 million received funding in the first round. So that just gives you some perspective of how quickly that money got gobbled up because of the high demand. And, piggybacking on some of the things Rick said, the whole purpose of that PPP loan is to really get people out of that unemployment line and back on payroll, so that, come end of May and June, people will be back, or businesses will have the momentum they need to be able to put people back on payroll for a full-time basis. But with respect to that PPP loan, reaching out to your local bank, your local community bank that you work with, is extremely important, because there has been, for lack of better words, preferential treatment given by some of the bigger banks to some of their bigger clients. I'm sure you've seen all the headlines from the big hospitality groups like your Ruth's Chris of the worlds, where they were able to receive multiple fundings in the $10 million plus range a couple times over. And then even one hospitality group, after all the negative publicity, gave their funding back. So you're going to get clogged up in the sea of applications with those large groups. So working with your smaller banking institutions will provide you a faster way to get the funding needed. For example, Banco ZK is a great bank in this community. Bank of Tampa, another great local small community bank. Just to name a few. But the other important thing too, again, keep referring back to Rick. When he first heard of it, he said he got with his CFO and got organized. It's important that you have all your documents together first shot around, so you don't clog up the system, so there's not a lot of back and forth, and that way you'll navigate through the channel faster. So making sure you have your P&Ls together from end of year 2019, year-to-date P&Ls, your 941 showcasing your payroll numbers, your tax returns from 2019, 2018, business and personal, depending upon the type of business that you are, because there's different requirements if you're a sole proprietorship LLC, if you're an S Corp, or if you're an LLC partnership, and so on and so forth. So checking all those boxes first is going to be extremely important in order to ensure that you get funding this go around.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Patrick, because if you're submitting your application with partial paperwork, it's just frustrating. It's going to clog the system up. The processors at the bank, the internal way that they're working and they're touching these, it's going to probably go to a processor and then a final underwriter. They're just going to have this pile of halfway completed applications, and it's going to slow it down for everyone. It's going to cause a lot of confusion.
It extends the time frame and timetable of you being able to get the funding that you're striving to get. And if you are working with, if you're fortunate to have a CFO or controller, you're probably organized and have this data. I know accountants have been extremely busy and bookkeepers have been extremely busy compiling this information that's needed. If you use a PEO or employee leasing company, which is our core business, they can support you on multiple levels, from pulling the appropriate payroll documentation. Health insurance is included as part of the calculation of your payroll. So there's several different boxes that can be checked that you're going to want to make sure that you include in the calculation to maximize the amount of payout, so that you can leverage that for as long as possible. So it's important that you work with those partners that you have, and I know that they're working overtime and tirelessly to get the necessary documentation to get to the small business owners, so that they can get the funding needed to stay in business, because that is, what fuels this economy is that small employer group is what we've been built on since our inception.
Yeah, right on. We're talking with Patrick Moraites, Axis Group LLC. You can find him online, axisgroupllc.com, and he is a professional employer organization, and it works under a lot of different. When you're working with employees, you're basically utilizing economies of scale to create benefits there and help people, help business owners that you service, Patrick, save money through that economies of scale.
Yeah, precisely. So just to give a quick little background on a PEO, what you indicated, professional employer organization, but what does that really mean? I think it's more descriptive when co-employer is a better term that's industry known, because it is a true partnership. You as the business owner is known as the worksite employer, so you're in charge of hiring, firing, managing day-to-day activities, and the PEO is the administrative employer, so they're taking care of all the back-end burdens that you don't want to deal with. So payroll, administering payroll, paying your taxes, employee benefits, administering and providing workers' comp, HR, which is huge right now with all the change in rules and regulations with respect to what came out with the CARE Act. And, you know, even as a couple hours ago, there's so many unknowns with how to handle certain situations that we're working through with labor attorneys and HR professionals, because when you have, you know, organizations that are awarded the PPP loan, but then if your employee's been furloughed and they're receiving unemployment, but now their unemployment benefit is exceeding what they were making as a W-2, now there's a conflict because these employees don't want to come back to work. So how do you manage and work through that situation is a whole new dynamic that was not foreseen through this, you know, through this kind of pandemic and challenge when the government created the CARE Act. So it's uncharted territory for sure on many levels, but the PEO is there as an expert because they have the licensed and certified HR professionals and the labor attorneys on staff to help you navigate through that, to keep you compliant, to have those conversations, to keep you out of harm's way.
And some people are actually misclassified as well. They're working a 1099. They're getting paid on a 1099, but they're probably more of a W-2 employee. You had said quickly that you think that might change. That dynamic may change in the future.
I suspect with everything that's taken place, especially with how the PPP loan was structured and the last minute changes that took place where 1099s were to be included. And then last minute Friday, that morning, they changed it and said you couldn't include your 1099s. So now it's preferential treatment is given to people that are actually W-2'd. Why? Well, because you're paying that FICA, that payroll tax that's being taken out of the check. So I think we'll see an interesting dynamic and change to how people are classified going forward because of this epidemic.
Absolutely. All right, more from attorney Joe Cairns coming up. Rick Nickerson, more from Patrick Moraites as well coming up in our lightning round. We're going to have top tips, nuggets of advice, words of wisdom, and also find out about this woman that's handing out sanitizer, vitamin C, and blankets to the homeless in our Feel Good Story of the Day. We'll be right back. And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. And we want to help you win in your real estate deals, of course, buying, selling, or investing. We help our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties by maximizing the exposure, utilizing a lot of the technologies that, other smaller, maybe independent companies don't have. For example, with Facebook, just for example, when we're running a Facebook ad through Keller Williams, we have the professionals at Facebook that have set up a specific algorithm for our listing, so we're getting exposure there. Plus, on our show, we're featuring properties, for example, like 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes. This is a property that is a developer's opportunity, builder developer at 4214 Peaceful Lane. You've got 8 lots, 5 of which are right on the waterfront on Bell Lake and Land O'Lakes. Great opportunity to purchase real estate, develop, and build here in Tampa Bay, which is going to be coming out of this. I think our third quarter here is going to be just gangbusters. It's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. People are going to be looking to make deals happen, and it's going to be a lot of good things happening. 2435 Grand Boulevard in Holiday. This is a office building in a great part of town, 2435 Grand Boulevard in Holiday. Another great example of a property the owner's motivated. We just did a price reduction on this one down to, I believe it's at $239,000 on Grand Boulevard in Holiday. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. platinummvpteam.kw.com. And Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you and take them up on special offers and incentives, whether you're planning a local or long distance move. Brothers Easy Moving is the trusted source from the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day, and this one is coming out of Los Angeles, California. A woman in Los Angeles spending her free time caring for the homeless during the coronavirus pandemic. Shirley Raines is spending her weekends handing out supplies to the city's homeless, including 200 bottles of sanitizer, oranges, and lemons to provide a boost of vitamin C. She's been buying hundreds of burgers from McDonald's every Saturday morning. And, quote, "We as a team are working very hard to gather up supplies for the homeless community," Rain said on Instagram. The important items right now are hand sanitizer, face mask, gloves, warm blankets, tents, water, and, of course, food. Rain said there may be still sleeping outdoors, so she and her team are also providing blankets and tents when they can. And, quote, "Trying to find a way to help that protects them and us at the same time. It doesn't leave them hungry and cold and feeling alone." So there's our feel-good story of the day. Awesome story here in our feel-good story, that random act of kindness that we always talk about here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're going to jump into our lightning round now, and I want to go to Attorney Joe Cairns, Cairns Family Law. Top tips.
Top tips for dealing with this kind of situation is you can't take all of your problems all at once. You need to compartmentalize all of these things and just take them one at a time. If you try to take them all at once, you're going to panic. That's my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Break it down into small decisions, small movements. You get movement on one thing and you get momentum, and then you start to get that momentum, and then the dominoes start to fall, so you can attack all of them systematically. I like that. All right, right here in studio, Rick Nickerson, BottomZupp.
Well, I first want to mention we are the floor removal experts. We're Florida's largest floor removal company here in the Tampa Bay. We've got a high profile. We're here for you. We are working, thank God. We would love, if you've got that remodel project and you're not living in the home, you've got a commercial project that's going, call BottomZupp, www.bottomzupp.com. We're here for you. We're working in the community, and we look forward to your next project. Just wanted to touch base with what we were talking about before, the reason why stress can build up in times like this. I just wanted to tell you a feel-good story, kind of ties into what we were talking about a little earlier, in that the reason why the stress built up in my life so bad, it was because I was literally watching our business deplete by the moment, 50% capacity, and trying to figure out a way that we were going to just make it to the other side of this pandemic. We submitted our small business SBA loan, PPP loan, through our bank, Chase, and several days went by, turned into weeks, and then on a Wednesday, I looked at the bank account and I said, "We're going to make it. We're good. God is good." So I just want to let you know, submit those SBA.gov, go through your bank, Chase. Chase has been a great partner with us. But the opportunity is out there for people. If you're a small business owner and you're looking for help, it does work. It worked for us. We're very blessed, and we're going to be here not only today, tomorrow, but well into the future. And we're very thankful for what the government has done, and it can work for you. I just wanted to touch base on that.
Nice, good stuff. All right, Patrick Moraites, Axis Group.
Yeah, Brandon, thanks for providing this platform for us to continue to communicate to the community and business owners and support one another. I think it's important that we still maintain some sense of normalcy through all this, and this is a way that we're accomplishing that. So thank you for that. For us, a common objection we always hear is, oh, what's the admin fee, and is that admin fee just for my payroll? Like it seems so high, because the administration fee that you pay with a PEO can be upwards of 5% on your gross payroll. Well, it's in times like these where this is what your admin fee is for. It's the support that you're getting right now from the labor attorneys, the HR professionals, the claims adjusters, the payroll technicians that are pulling and compiling all the payroll data that you need to get this SBA loan. So I do believe that going forward, we'll see even more companies take advantage of outsourcing, or let's call it insourcing, and leveraging the companies here in the U.S. for their expertise, and continue to focus in on their core business. Like Rick's flooring business. I'm sure he didn't go into business to worry about his payroll taxes and how to pay those and make sure they're paid on time and everything else. So it's just those are my tips, is to really take this. If you have downtime, take this downtime to get back to basics, focus in on your core, and revamp, rebuild, because we all are in this together. We all are on the same page. No one is not impacted or adversely impacted in some fashion. So we're coming from a common place, unlike the last recession. And I think together as a community, we can move forward for the greater good.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good point. And this recession is a little bit different. It's going to be more of a V-shaped recovery. It's going to go. We got hit hard, and it's going to bounce back. We're going to bounce back. It's not going to be a long, drawn out thing. It's going to be more of a situation where, and I think real estate is going to lead that back out. The people are still buying, selling, investing in real estate. It's going to be an area, a sector of the economy that affects so many people. When you look at when homeowners buy a home, what do? They rip out the flooring. They're putting in new flooring. They're remodeling the kitchen. They're adding solar. 3D solar. They're doing a lot of improvements on the property, and then that ripple effects into the insurance industry. So many different types of folks that are involved through real estate. So I think it's such a major point that we do get back to some sort of normalcy. We're able to, and again, great point. Utilize the downtime to improve your business, work on your business now rather than in the business like you normally do as a business owner. And it's a great time to maybe improve your skills, learn a new skill, get certifications done. Look at improving your websites. Lots of ways that you can use this time positively, and where you focus, your energy is going to flow. So if you're focusing on negativity, things that what's going wrong, that's going to expand in your mind. So if you focus on things that are positive and what you can do about it, then you're going to be in a much different mindset. All right, let's go back to Attorney Joe Cairns here, Cairns Family Law. Final words, maybe something inspiring for our listeners out there, Joe.
The one silver lining that I have seen from this is there has been downtime. I think regardless of unless you're like a nurse or a doctor, there hasn't been any downtime. But in my business, it has allowed me to kind of stop, take a breath, and kind of get back. Because I used to play guitar professionally, and I don't get to play hardly at all. And I finally put new strings on them, and I got to play them. So if there is something that because you've just been so busy, you haven't gotten to do, go back to it.
Nice. I like that. What do you play, Joe?
Oh, electric. I play jazz, rock, blues, you name it. But I got acoustics, electrics, basses.
Nice, awesome, man. That's on my list. I want to learn to play guitar at some point. Rick Nickerson, Bottoms Up.
I wanted to touch on what Patrick had mentioned, because I'm a firm believer that iron sharpens iron. In this downtime, we've got a schedule that usually we're super busy and it's go. Well, every other day my team is working, but I need to get them a certain amount of hours. So what we're doing is iron is sharpening iron. We are putting training classes together to improve machine operation. We're teaching some of our younger guys how to operate a jackhammer. We're setting up faux kitchens and things like that where we've had issues in the past, how to put up dust control, how to put up protection. And we're spending a couple of hours actually training our guys in getting better. And it's times like this when you're slow to reflect on things that went bad or how you can get better in the future. Like I said, this is the time to do that. And what a better way to grow. Training.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're doing that. Patrick, you're right. That's 100%. It's the best thing to do.
Sharpen
right now.
the saw. Great time to do it. Great time to improve all the facets of your business, and look for ways to be that blessing for others. As we always say, the random act of kindness here. I want to thank Attorney Joe Cairns, Cairns Family Law. Support our show partners, please. CairnsLaw.com. Rick Nickerson, BottomZupp, BottomZupp.com, as well as Patrick Moraites, Access Group, as well. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Donate some blood, donate some time. Lots of ways that you can be a force for good in the community. And reach out. We'd love to talk to you on our hotline. It's an off-air number you can call, or hit the website up, consumerqb.com. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time